What in the world's happening here? Okay. Hi, good morning. We're doing, what are we doing? We're doing geography of the ocean floor and ocean tides. Okay, so we're going to do both of them today. They're kind of short. Interesting, but short. Kind of like me. Huh.
Why are
Okay.
you sitting there? Scroll down.
Good job.
He already did put it on.
I have one of your classmates working the projector for me, and all of a sudden my whole screen just goes into something else completely. Right after she bragged about how I'm going to be the best scroller ever.
He's just sitting there like this. I mean, Mark's still dead scroll to another one.
All right, here we go. All right, we're talking about geography of the ocean floor. This is actually pretty short. It's good stuff, though. You're looking out at the ocean, and one might imagine that it's a giant bowl filled with water. The surface appears relatively flat and smooth, but don't let the surface fool you. Just as land around us varies greatly, so also the floor of the ocean changes. So also the floor of the ocean changes, I can't read, from one location to another. Okay? On land, we see mountains, valleys, plains, and hills. The ocean floor has all of those also. Okay? We just can't see them because, well, they're covered in water. Okay? But they actually have the exact same thing. Okay? We have many different technologies to help us study the ocean floor. One method for mapping the floor is echo sounding or sonar. Okay? And what that does, of course, is they shoot the sound waves down, and when it hits something, it bounces back. And depending on how long it takes for it to come back, they know that, you know, it's either the same or it gets deeper or it's something. If I had one right here and I shot it down from the ceiling, we had something rolling across the ceiling and it started here. It would come down, it would hit Rihanna's desk, and it would bounce back up. But then it would move over, and it would go all the way down, hit the floor, and bounce back up. Well, that would tell me that there was something there. Okay, it's not as deep, so there's a difference there. Something's there. You understand? You see how that works? Okay? A ship sends out a sound waves and measures the time it takes for it to bounce back. The deeper the water, the longer it takes for the sound to return. And much of the ocean floor has been mapped this way. Good. Thank you. In addition, divers can explore shallow waters or areas of the ocean firsthand. However, see, I'm trying to get you so you don't feel like I'm just ignoring you. However, to really see and understand the seafloor, scientists use submersible vehicles that are designed to withstand the tremendous pressures of the water at great depth. Some of these vehicles are manned mini-subs, okay? And some are remote-controlled vehicles equipped with cameras to send pictures back of remote areas, okay? The research done in the past 150 years have revealed that the ocean floor has 3 general areas. Number 1. Okay? First, stretching out from most of the continents is an area called the continental shelf. That is what when you go and you're playing up on the beach and you go into the water, you're on the continental shelf. Okay? And it starts to slowly slope down. Okay? And that's why the water gets deeper the farther out you go. The continental shelf is actually sloping down a little bit. Yes?
When we're labeling this, can we just like put an
You just put the
arrow?
number. You just put the number in. It tells you it's got the up on top. Okay. This is a relatively shallow area that slopes gently down from the shore. The width of this shelf varies greatly from one area to another. It might be anywhere from 40 to 1,200 feet wide. That's going outward, of course. Okay. It has a depth of anywhere from 0 when you first enter it, it just barely covers your toes, to 700 feet.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Okay? Past the continental shelf, the seafloor drops sharply at what is called the continental slope. That's when you get out there far enough and all of a sudden, they call it a slope, it's almost just a drop-off. Okay, you just walk off and fall into the big hole there. Okay?
Like slope?
And that's the continental slope. past the slope is the third area of the seafloor, and it is a relatively flat area called the abyssal plain. Okay, the abyssal, and it's also the hardest.
What number is
It's right under, it's right
We're
under.
not worried about the numbers right now. Okay, it's also the hardest part of the ocean to explore. Okay.
What do you mean, like that hard or?
No. Oh my gosh.
No, because it's the bottom of the ocean.
So it's hard.
And you
Yeah.
can't go back.
It's the bottom of the ocean. You can't get down there because of the pressure. It's harder to explore it. Yeah.
Mr. Sutton.
Yes.
My grandma, like, she lives at the beach and she was talking about how, like, if you go out far enough, like, and sometimes it's closer to shore than other places, it just drops.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, it does. You're absolutely correct. Okay. Where we at? Okay. The abyssal plain is not really flat though. It is covered with rises, trenches, hills, mountains, and other features. Underwater mountains are called seamounts. Okay? This is a mountain that is underwater. All of it is underwater. That's a seamount. Now, but if the top of a seamount is flat, it is called a geo. Okay? I know that doesn't look like it. It looks like Guyot, but it's actually pronounced geo. Okay? If the top of the seamount extends above the surface of the ocean, it's an island. That's what an island is. Okay? Now you have deep valleys in the sea floor that are called trenches. And many trenches occurs near the string of islands. They usually have a very short drop on the side near the island. Okay, it's almost like a big trench. Okay, and then you have the island, and then it slopes more gently up on the other side of the trench. Okay, so the next time you look at the ocean, remember that there is much more to see below the surface. Why do you think you might have a big trench here and then an island? What do you think that, how does that play in? What do you think?
Volcano or an underwater mountain rose up.
There you go. Yeah, and when it rose up, the land that went up created basically a vacancy, so now you got a trench. You ever notice on land, when you go up on the mountains, and you're standing up on top of a lookout on a mountain looking out, what do you see most of the time? You're looking out over a valley that drops down because the mountain rose up from there. Yeah. Do you have a question, Leo?
Yeah, can you go back up to the Goya?
What do you need to know? What do you need to know?
I just need to, I was working on number 2, and I needed to see.
Okay, you're looking at what are some of the features?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, some of the features are the rises, trenches, hills, mountains, and other features. That's it.
Wait, is it trench one?
What? On number 2, what are some of the features of the abyssal plain?
Yeah, is like the trench one?
Yeah, trenches are rises, trenches, hills, mountains. Yeah, all of those, you know. Okay? All right, I think we're good. All right, this is, shows you here, we've got the continental, this is a picture that you have, okay? You have the continental, this is the beach you play on. This is where you start to play out into the water, okay? This is when you get, and it just falls completely off the face of the earth. Tell you what, won't you turn the light off? It might be easier for us to see this real quick, and then we'll come back to it. There you go. Yeah. A seamount is an underwater mountain, okay? An island is a seamount that actually broke the surface, okay? So you see, when you're on an island, you see how it's actually part of the, okay, it's not just like floating land up there,
So,
okay? It's not going to tip over if everybody goes to one side of it or something,
That would be fun.
okay? Yes.
Can you go back up to sea now?
We're not going back up right yet. Okay? And a geo is a seamount with a flat top. And of course, then you've got the trench. Okay? All right, yes, ma'am.
For the first question, is it just like all this stuff? What, I know I got the
Which one?
continental shelf.
Can you go back up, because I'm pretty sure it said something, but I'm not sure if that was right or not.
We just typed it out, I just didn't know.
All right. Well, this will be posted online, okay,
Slow.
at 3 o'clock this afternoon. So if you need to go back and review, it's out there.
It's like
Okay.
dugout one.
If we have time at the end of class, we will revisit some things, okay? I promise.
Dugout one.
Of what? Of the three main parts?
Yeah.
No. It's the continental shelf, continental slope, and the abyss. Okay, we've done them all. All right, let's go, let's keep strolling. We'll go to, ocean tides. Okay? Okay, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. That's the pit. All right, right here, come back down, I'm sorry. This is the picture, if you come back down just a little bit more to the top. You'll see up there, hold down, come here, down,
Are you sick?
down.
Other way, Julian.
Okay, go back up, how's that? I'm saying down, me and you got our directions messed up. I want to see the questions up at the top. There, right there, right. Okay, see how this is labeled, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now go back up to the picture. Show me the picture, there you go. All you gotta do is put the numbers where it goes. That's all you gotta do. Okay, you don't have to, no long explanation, just put the picture, the numbers there, okay? What do you think it is? Okay, now let's go to the ocean tides. Okay, back, go the other way. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay, never mind, it's not there, I'll be right back. Let me click on it. No, you didn't do anything wrong, I just need to click on it. I was thinking it was a continuous, thing, but it is not. So I need to come in here and find,
The first question we learned about in astronomy was something.
there we go.
And you know that one.
All right, you can hit the magnifying glass and make it bigger for us if you would. All right, now, we're going to do the ocean tides, okay? This is why you're falling behind. You need to be paying attention, okay? Quit worrying about it. I told you, this is online. You might actually have to go home and do homework. I know it's scary, but I'm not going to waste all of my class time doing your homework for you. That's why it's referred to as homework. Okay? If you let me get through this, there is a good possibility we would have time to answer some of your questions. But I'm going to get through this first. Okay? I'm not going to stop and answer your homework questions for you every time I turn around. That's not how this is going to work. Okay? It's your work. I put in my work. That's where this came from. Okay? All right. Tides are the rise and fall of the level of the ocean. They are caused by the gravitational pull of the sun and moon, as well as the rotation of the earth. I believe that's probably your first question on under ocean tides. For those of you that want to help.
Are we taking notes on this too?
You are. But I'm going to let you pick out 3 questions. Once you answer the questions, you can pick out 3 of them to write notes down. Any 3 you want. Okay? All 5 of the others that we just did, only 3 on the ocean tide. You only have to write notes on 3 of the questions, and you can pick out any of the 3.
We have to?
You have to.
Oh, wait.
If you don't, I'm giving you a 0.
Wait, can you do like 4 or 5?
You can do all 10.
Okay.
You can do all 10. I'm saying you only have to do 3.
Okay.
Okay, if you want to do 10, you can do 10. Shoot, if you want to make something up, that's fine too. But you only have to do 3. Okay, you only have to do 3. Tides are the rise and fall of the level of the ocean. We did that. All right, tide cycles as the moon rotates around the earth as the position of the sun changes throughout the day. The sea level is constantly rising and falling. Okay? Now, here, listen to this. This is tough. When the sea level rises, high tide is reached. Oh, it's a mind blower. When the sea level falls, low tide is reached. And guess what? It repeats.
No way.
Yep. Okay? It repeats. All right. Run it up just a little bit there, please. Thank you. All right. This cycle can occur once or twice a day, depending on the location of the area to the moon. Tides that happens once a day are called what? On here. What?
Diurnal.
Diurnal. There you go. Most people go diurnal. It's diurnal. Okay, tides that happen twice a day are called semi. All right, good enough. Because the Earth rotates the same direction as the moon, the cycle is actually slightly longer than a day. Okay, it's about 24 hours and 50 minutes. That's why the high and low tide doesn't happen at the same time every day. Okay, that's why it doesn't happen at the same time every day, because it actually is about 24 hours and 50 minutes. Plus, the moon is actually running out ahead of the Earth, and the Earth is catching up, so that also affects it. Okay? While the sun and the rotation of the Earth both have some tidal impact, the location of the moon has the biggest effect. Okay? Now think about it. The sun is pulling on the Earth gravitationally, and the moon is. Why do you think the moon might have more of an effect on the tides than the sun? It's closer. Yeah, because the moon is closer to the Earth. It's only like 249,000 miles away.
When
The
the
sun
sun's
is 93 million.
million miles.
Yeah. So you see, the gravity of the moon causes high tides on both sides of the Earth directly below the moon. Okay, and the opposite side of the Earth, which is an antipodal. Okay, low tides are on the side of the Earth 90 degrees away from the moon. Okay. And we're going to see a video that explains why when you're getting high tide and it's bulging, the Earth is actually bulging out here. Okay, it's actually bulging out on the other side too. And you're like, okay, how is that happening? We're going to watch a video, and we'll give you the link to that. Okay, all right. Go up a little bit. Yeah, you got. Yeah, I'm sorry. All right, there's the picture. The moon's gravitational pull. Okay, and you see how it's bulging out on both sides?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? Okay.
But the moon is bigger.
Yeah, and the reason it's doing that is because this pulls out, but it also pulls the Earth over this way, so it causes a bulge over there also. But then it flattens out on top because the water has to come from somewhere. So it kind of flattens out on top. That's pretty cool. That's good stuff. Okay? Yes?
The one closest to the moon is called the subpolar.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. And on the opposite side of the moon, it is called the anti. See this? That's one of your questions. You want to see that on there somewhere. Okay. Yeah. All right. All right, tidal currents, okay? When the sea level is rising or falling, water is flowing to or from the ocean, okay? This flow causes currents called tidal currents. I look better in the dark probably, don't I? Anyway, flood currents. A flood current occurs as the sea level is rising towards high tide, okay? Think about it. Flood, it's moving towards shore, high tide. Flood, moving towards shore. Makes sense, right? Okay. At ebb current, okay, that is when the sea level is dropping towards low tide, so the water is moving away from shore. Okay, it's ebbing.
So is
It's
that what
moving
happens
away.
when after a wave comes, all the water goes back out to the next wave?
Basically, basically you
But
can
like
say
times
that.
10.
Yeah. Okay. Slack water is when at the exact time of high tide or low tide, there's no current. The water is just slack. They call that slack water. Okay? That's when there's no current. Okay? So flood current coming in, ebb current going out, slack, no current. Okay? Okay. Let's a little more. There you go. Okay. The tidal range is the difference in sea level between low tide and high tide. And the tidal range will vary in different locations depending on the location of the sun and the moon, as well as the picture basically of the shoreline. That right there is what it's talking about, is the lay of the land. Okay, that's what we're talking about. In an open ocean, the tidal range is typically around 2 feet. However, tidal ranges can be as much larger near the shore. The largest tidal range is on the coast of the Bay of Fundy in Canada, where the tide can change as much as 40 feet in high and low tide. 40 feet. Okay,
That's crazy.
that's if you stack 4 basketball goals on top of each other, that's the difference in low and high tide there. Okay?
Crazy.
All right.
Number 6 yet?
I don't know. Okay?
You want me to?
Nah, you're good. Keep going. Okay, types of tide. You got the high tide, which is the point of the tidal cycle where the sea level is at its highest. A low tide is the point of the tide cycle where the sea level is low. A spring tide occurs when the sun and the moon are aligned. Okay? That means you got the earth, the moon, and the sun are all lined up together. So you're getting a double whammy gravitational pull at that point in time. That is a spring tide. It doesn't mean it happens in the springtime. It's called a spring because the water seems to spring forward. Okay, because it's getting that double whammy. The old people used to call it the spring tide because of that. Okay? A neap tide, or some people say nep, is when the tidal range is at its smallest. This occurs during the first and third quarter of the moon. Okay? And then you got the semi-diurnal, which this tidal cycle is one where there is 2 high tides and 2 lows. And just a diurnal is a tidal cycle is where there's only 1 high or 1 low. Okay? So semi, 2. Okay? 2. All right. Yay. We survived. Okay. And we will, you've got the reading in front of you. They don't have the reading in front of them because they're trying to learn how to take notes. Okay? Good luck and goodbye for now.